Today, we are going to go over 5 tips that you can start utilizing in your tabletop RPGs right now to get better at role-playing. What's up, adventurers? It's Ozakis Gaming, home of the new and upcoming live Dungeons & Dragons campaign, Vastoria War of the Spires. A campaign set in a realm of magic and science of my own making, and you can watch the new trailer right now down in the description down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and without further ado, let's get into tip number 1. Sometimes if you don't know what to say, maybe your character doesn't either. You inevitably find yourself in a role-play situation. It can be hard to come up with answers on the spot. Silently start to panic, the table starts hearing a lot of ums, and the plot just slows down. If you find yourself not knowing what to do or what to say, maybe your character reflects that. Maybe they become tongue-tied, nervous, finding themselves tripping over words, or you can tap into describing what your character's body language is like, their thoughts, their feelings, or their physical actions. Not everything has to be verbal. Tip number 2, utilizing the 5 senses. So this is one of my favorite ways that I like to fluff up my role-playing responses. So when a dungeon master is describing a setting or a character to the table, they tap into more than just what the player can see. Overhearing others' conversations, a dog barking in the background, the sound of steel clashing against one another in a battle. Maybe there's a sweet or musky scent in the air. Maybe your character can kind of smell a nostalgic dish from their childhood. I think you get it, but there is so much room for description here. I think you'll find this tip really helpful. Tip number 3, get to know your table better. So this one is pretty self-explanatory. You should take some time to get to know the people that you are playing with outside of the game. Maybe you're already playing with people that you know, but if you find yourself in a situation where maybe role-playing is a little bit uncomfortable or feels silly, maybe it's because you don't feel 100% comfortable showcasing that around the people that you're playing with. Basically go outside and touch grass with them. Now this is where I find a lot of people struggle. It can be really hard trying to find a good balance between a seemingly perfect character and a character whose backstory is so horrible and their life is so tragic that it takes away from every other aspect surrounding this character. Remember, even in a fantasy setting, everybody has flaws. It offers a great chance for character development, and it's just realistic that your character is not great at everything or nothing phases them. Basically, give them some depth. And on the flip side of that coin, your backstory shouldn't get in the way of the table or the plot. Now, it's D&D. Most characters come with some form of tragic backstory. It just offers a lot of room for development, and it just makes the characters more interesting and fun to play. Just remember that there are other aspects outside of your character's backstory and outside of your character's trauma that makes them who they are. And the most important aspect about this rule is make sure that you are creating space at the table for other people's backstories to come into play. Now, before we get into tip number 5, I do want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit that subscribe button and check out the new trailer for Vastoria War of the Spires. The link is in the description down below, and it's going to be in our Patreon, which is free to view for everyone. All right, let's get into tip number 5, pay attention and ask questions. Now, this last tip seems really simple on paper, but I find a lot of players struggle with it. A lot of details that your game master is describing, sometimes they might seem minuscule in the grand scheme of the plot. But paying attention, being off your phone, and staying engaged actually gives you a ton of material to work with when it comes to your rotation at the table. I'm also really happy to do a part 2 where we go on the flip side of things and give tips and tricks to dungeon masters so that they have advice on how to keep their player base engaged, more details on the rules, session zeros, and more. So let me know in the comment section down below if you guys are interested in a video like that. But as a player, staying engaged when it's not your turn allows you time to think of what your character is going to do, what are they going to say next, how are they going to react to the current situation. If you're not paying attention when it's not your turn in the rotation, not only are you being rude to the player who is getting the attention, but when it comes to your turn, you're going to lose out on a lot of details and might be stuck with not knowing what to do or say and kind of slowing the table down. I hope these tips helped you guys get a little bit more in depth with your role playing. If there's anything about Dungeons and Dragons that you guys want me to cover in a future video, go ahead and comment down below. It's getting too loud for me to finish this video, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!